Teste. Acho que agora foi. Mas tá com. Teste. Mas tá com ruído. Pera aí. Teste, teste. Tá, agora tá funfando. Obrigado por seguir. Agora sim eu posso falar. Ai, essas coisas que acontecem. Desculpa. Talibes. Obrigado por seguir, Talibes. Obrigado por seguir, Jellyberry. Eu não sei o que aconteceu, mas aconteceu. É sobre isso. Eu vou ver o que, é que eu vou fazer depois, porque desconfigurou tudo. Desconfigurou tudinho meu OBS do nada. Aí foi. Foi, ainda bem. Nossa. Panoche. Do nada, tá? Do nada. Tava certinho, daí desconfigurou tudo. Não é a primeira vez que essas coisas acontecem. Mas fazer o quê? Vamos fazer a missão da Acheron, né? Eu tentei pegar a C2 dela. E veio de Gepard. É sobre isso. Gepard no Piri 32. E daí, como é que vocês estão? Como é que foi o dia de vocês? Tá tudo certo? Amanhã eu arrumo isso daqui. Ou hoje, depois que acabar a live, não sei. Ah, eu gastei o bagulhoso. Tudo nice. Que bom que tá tudo bem. Eu tenho que fazer... Qual é a missão da Acheron? Missão da Acheron. Eu acho que é essa aqui. Tá marcado, então é só... Eu vou transportar pra missão dela. Tá bem pertinho. Pelo menos isso. Vocês pegaram a Acheron? A Raiden do Honkai? Eu peguei, né? Porque é a Raiden, né? A Raiden não tem como não pegar, né? Vai. Falei com a Aventurine. Uai. Que isso? Cadê? Ah, tá em outro lugar. Full skip essa personagem em sério? Nossa. Eu queria muito ela, porque eu já tenho a Raiden do... Eu tenho as duas Raiden, né? A do Impact e a do Genshin. Aí eu tinha que pegar essa aqui também, né? Fazer o quê, né?
Ah, friend. My expression wasn't much better than yours when I first saw this.
Não é fácil ser gado de Raiden.
Your eyes aren't deceiving you. It's her.
Tem que fazer que o meu irmão já tá me
Famous
enchendo o
singer,
saco. Fala das
Ronan.
coisas. É.
Well, first of all, can I just say that this had nothing to do with me?
Nada
I'm
contra,
just an
mas
unlucky
vive muito
bystander
fora que
here.
os personagens da
The family can testify for me.
são mais
If
interessantes.
you don't believe me, just ask anyone in the Bloodhound family. They hate me and they hate the IPC, so they'd never lie.
Eu
This is not where the
quero
crime
qualquer personagem
happened.
que vir pra mim.
What I showed you was a memory.
Então, né?
The most basic
Mas a
light
Raiden eu
cone
queria muito
manifesting
mais.
tech. Authorized by the Garden of Recollection and owned by the IPC. Did you really think the Galaxy Rangers were outsiders this whole time? Penacony has made a solemn commitment to protect the safety of anyone inside a family dream. Any person in distress will be forcibly awakened and safely returned to reality. What gives them the confidence to make such conclusive statements? Because behind this promise is the harmony.
E cadê a Robin, então?
The family's Dreamweavers link up their minds together to construct an unbreakable defensive line. Breaking through this line of defense to create death in the dreamscape. Not even a memo keeper could do that without the family's permission.
Sério?
Who could have done it, friend? The only one is her. The girl who calls herself a Galaxy Ranger. An imposter. An unsought guest. An emanator who hides her true identity.
Ah. Gostosa, né?
Ifrit's death was a foregone conclusion. And Robin?
Gostosa demais.
Her misfortune was staring right at her. Who will be the next to die?
Isso é muito difícil de aceitar. Não aceito.
It's fine. Listen to your gut. Building trust always takes time, and I'm willing to wait. I just hope you realize that wherever that legacy is concerned, covert plans are already underway throughout Penacony. Everyone's got their own agenda.
Their own agenda.
Careful you don't get stuck on the wrong side. If I were you, I'd keep my distance from Acheron. After all, any schemes out in the open are always going to be better than a monster in the shadows.
Eu quero ela na minha vida, então ela pode até dormir na minha cama se quiser.
Who's to say there isn't an even deeper conspiracy lurking beneath the surface?
Manter distância da
Memo Keeper, I think our little deal is finished.
Aventurine is telling the truth. This memory is a real one, and there's no sign of any distortion grafting on.
The IPC is not the Garden, and there are real limits to what they can actually do. But you know all this. Friend, let's not beat around the bush here. The thing is, I want to reach out personally to team up with the Astral Express. I told you I'm just not interested in scrambling for the legacy. I just came to Penacony for work. I'm here to retrieve some lost property for the IPC, if you catch my drift. I'm talking ownership of this frontier prison. This has all become a bad debt thanks to the cancer of all worlds. The IPC has tried sitting down for negotiations time and again, but the family wouldn't even take our calls. You have no idea how difficult these people are to deal with. Put it this way. They've hushed up the existence of death before, so they can definitely cover up any news about Robin's death. It'll just quietly float off like a bubble and pop. Nobody ever being the wiser. That's not fair, right? So then, friend, I need your help.
Tá. É sempre assim, mas que?
I have but only one goal. The family's front door is like a high wall, and to tear the whole thing down, I'll have to dig out a few chunks first. Once I find a weak point, the IPC will have plenty of means. Now we have our chance. So long as we can get to the truth behind her death, we can have justice for Robin.
Ela morreu
While
mesmo.
also gaining a valuable bargaining chip for bringing the family to the table. Truly a once-in-a-blue-moon opportunity. I've been investigating and making lots of friends all over Penacony precisely for this very moment. This tragic news would be extremely bad for the family, so they'll be doing everything they can to stop it leaking, especially to the IPC. But I trust that there are still a few factions that remain exceptions. And that's why I need you all. The reputation of the Astral Express precedes you. And the Harmony will give you the fairest of appraisals. You get to find out really what happened and seek justice. And I get to put it toward completing my mission for the IPC. It's what you call a win-win situation.
Cortei. Era meu irmão que tava falando comigo, dizendo que pegou o nível LET.
Don't worry, just head back and talk things over with your companions. That navigator is really smart. She must understand the value of this deal. Look, here's my contact details. If you come to any
Você pega os
conclusions,
personagens mais
call me.
Cone.
And
Depende.
take this. A thorough investigation can always use a little more funding.
O Blade.
Don't mention it.
A Cilly.
So long, friend.
Eu peguei
I
ela
really
no
am
Kiri
looking
20 alguma
forward to
coisa.
uncovering
A
the
primeira
truth about
quando
death
lançou o
with
jogo.
everyone.
Aí o cone dela, eu atirei e veio também em 20 alguma coisa. Acho que a Cilly foi no 27 ou foi no 28.
He really doesn't mean to force it, but something still seems off.
Pera aí. Ah, muita coisa tá off, né? Aí... Deixa eu ver. Depois da Cilly eu não lembro quem foi, mas eu sei que eu guardei pro Blade. Aí eu peguei o Blade mais o cone dele. Quem mais que eu tenho com cone? A Sparkle eu tenho ela e o cone. Eu esqueci o resto.
What now?
Depois que eles parar de falar
What are your
aqui, eu
plans?
vejo os personagens.
Black Swan.
Eu só pego os personagens.
What is she thinking?
Eu só pego os personagens mais cones. Tem Sparkle, Dr. Rachel, Jean, e todos eles têm seus cones. Ah, é, o Dr. Rachel eu peguei o cone dele porque a gente ganhou ele, né? Mas ó, ela tem o cone, ele eu não tenho. Ela também não tenho. Ó, ele também não. Ela também não. A Sparkle eu tenho. Ela eu não peguei. Ele também não. Também não. Ele eu peguei. Eu tenho o cone dele, mas é porque eu perdi o 50-50, eu acho. Ela eu peguei. O Blade também. Ela não... Ah, ela é de coisa, né? Então não peguei. Mas é esses daí os personagens que eu tenho. Um cone. Vou pegar o cone da Romei, mas não vou pegar a Romei. É sobre isso. Mas é a Acheron eu tinha que pegar a Acheron e o cone dela, né? Porque é a Acheron, né? O Blade eu peguei porque é o Blade. E o Blade eu queria desde o beta. Que eu vi eles jogando com o Blade. Eu falava, meu Deus, ele tem que ser meu. Pra colocar no desbravador de harmonia. É. Aí eu peguei, né? O Blade é o Blade, né? Ai, meu Deus. Blade. Deixa eu ver como é que é as Eidolons do Blade. Não é que eu tenho vontade de pegar alguma, né? Preço do Blade, causa dano aumentado, adicional, único alvo com um aumento de... Nossa, 150 PV total. Nossa, ele dá um no chão, né? Com que ele perdeu na batalha. Ah... Tudo que ele perdeu a mais 150%. Aumenta 150%. Tem um limite de 90% se eu prever. Não, li errado. Esse valor será definido. Tá, C2. Quando o Blade está. Aumenta a chance de crítico. Isso aqui é bom. Isso aqui é bom. 75 aumenta em 15. É. Vai lá pra 90 daí. Se eu tivesse aí 2 do Blade. Nossa, que triste. Mas eu queria... Ah, ele eu não peguei o clone dele também. O Jinwan também não peguei o clone porque daí eu queria a Acheron, né? Daí eu guardei.
On the surface, this doesn't look like a bad deal for you. But Aventurine is a shrewd merchant whose scheme won't just be as simple as it appears to be.
É
He
meio
doesn't
triste.
know about Miss
Ah, do
Firefly
Blade
yet.
é. Por isso que eu não
But,
peguei.
judging by your
Por isso eu peguei
reaction, he may
ele
have
e a
noticed
Idol.
something going on
O
and
clone dele.
deliberately shifted topics to the truth of death to try and pull you in line with his way of thinking. That's quick thinking and very sound
Meus
logic.
dentinhos.
Aventurine is no fool, and working with him definitely has its dangers.
Acho que o microfone tá atrapalhando. Uhum. Ganhou um ovo. E a cenoura ganhou também. Porra. Só uma tá bom, tá? Por que 3? Meu Deus.
But you're talking about real evil.
Real.
Anyway, be careful out there. There's more than one way to blaze a trail. In a dark forest beset by wolves, ensuring your own escape to safety should be your primary
Eu tô
concern.
cansado.
As for the other questions,
Que questions? A morte matou
I'm
Robin.
not sure the two cases were committed by the same culprit, but that massive wound looked like its winged blade. We've all witnessed it in action before. Plus, it seems unlikely that there would be two lethal entities loose in the dreamscape. Sorry, I can't answer that question. That ranger is shrouded in mystery. I'm afraid no one is capable of providing an answer. But without a doubt, she is the most special guest at this banquet. It's like Aventurine said just then.
Ela é bem
It's
especial
best to
pra mim.
keep your distance from her.
Não vou manter a distância dela, não.
Two victims appearing one after the other in a very short time span, in and of itself, that's very unusual. Two possibilities. The collapse of Penacony's dreamscape has started speeding up, making death extremely agitated and weakening the family's protections. Or everything has been planned out and executed by someone. If someone has chosen these victims deliberately, first a smuggler, then a family celebrity, then this murderer's motives are worth thoroughly chewing over. It's all happened so quickly, I can only make conjecture. After leaving here, go have a chat with your companions. I hope you can clarify the source of this confusion.
Eu quero falar com a Acheron.
Come, this way. It's a short walk. Don't get lost.
Não vou querer caminhar porque tá correndo, minha filha. Ainda bem que tá correndo.
This way. This is where we part ways.
Qual o
All
próximo
of this is
personagem que
like
você quer?
a nightmare.
E agora eu ainda tô
Unfortunately, the
pensando se eu vou usar o
remembrance
meu
doesn't
garantido pra
lie.
pegar Jin Liu.
What we just saw is the reality that happened. And it won't fade from our
Ou se eu vou
minds
pegar um
just
outro
because we
personagem que é
wake up.
vazamento e eu não posso falar.
But follow your heart and don't be afraid. We all walk through this world casting shadows of different lengths. And ultimately, all we leave behind are precious memories. Ah, hold on just a sec.
Mas acho que tá mais pra esse personagem que é vazamento e eu não posso falar.
There you go. A small parting gift. If one day you unfortunately fall into the deep waters of the memory zone and there's no memo keeper to join you, hopefully it can guide you on my behalf. I also pay great attention to the ways of the world. Just think of this as an apology from me for hiding something from you.
Metido coisas. Você é criador de conteúdo pelo Honkai? Então, eu fui chamado no TikTok por causa do Genshin. Mas daí, como saiu o Honkai e eu tô jogando aqui, aí... Mas
Then,
é da
I've
Royalverse, né?
something
Então,
private
qualquer
to
jogo
take
que
care of regarding that Galaxy Ranger. Let's leave
sair
things
coisa assim
there,
da
shall we?
Royalverse, que for vazamento, eu não
What
posso falar.
fascinating memories will you bring for me next time we meet? I sincerely look forward to them.
Aí sim, eu faço parte dos criadores da Royal. Mas não ganho nada da Royalverse. Eu não sou esse nível de criador deles. Eu não sei qual é a versão, na verdade. Na verdade, é uma versão mais distante, porque ele nem saiu ainda, esse personagem. Não, nenhum dos dois. É depois deles ainda. Então, né? Que provavelmente só vamos saber quem é no vazamento de outra... Depois da próxima versão dessa próxima atualização. Uhum. Depois da 2.2.
A family rep.
Só
Is
tem os
Himiko
arquivos
okay?
dele no jogo daí, né? Ou dela, não sei. Que é isso? Ah. Tô guardando pra 2.3, mas se vier, manda vou ter que pegar. Então, eu tentei pegar ela, mas ela não veio. Aí ficou garantida a minha Acheron. Aí, né? Aí eu não, a Acheron. Aí depois eu
So
garanti
much has
a
happened.
Eu ganhei a
I
Eamon.
should take a moment to gather my thoughts and wait for everyone to arrive.
Ganhei 50-50 da Eamon. Eu fiquei feliz. Mas eu tô vendo se eu vou conseguir me segurar ainda. Tá, poxa, já assim na cara.
Still a dream hunter. Of those slain by your hand.
It appears the outcome has already been
Nenhum outro banner
determined.
depois da Rorô. Sabe que eu não lembro? Eu acho que eu atirei. Sim, né? Porque daí eu atirei no banner de arma Rachel. E eu não lembro de mais ninguém. Olha, eu sei que eu guardei pra ela e ainda eu não, eu farmei pra ela, né? Pra Acheron. Mas quem que eu joguei? Eu joguei em alguém? Ah, eu joguei na Sparkle. Peguei Sparkle. Alzheimer atinge a todos. Ah, eu tenho problema de memória. Eu tenho TDAH, eu sou esquecido.
You're still alive. As are you.
Sim, eu joguei na Sparkle. Eu tava com
You
bastante
still have
coisa
room
e
to
peguei
make a
Sparkle.
choice. Leave the music box behind, and then go.
Choice.
Uhum.
The bloody trail of the destruction leaves no room for hesitation.
E eu joguei na Black Swan também, mas ela não veio pra mim.
The
Aí eu
Taurus Fire
garanti
Demon.
a Acheron.
Even if you sacrifice your life for that eon, you won't get special treatment.
Ranger, you tread the narrow path of the hunt. You could never understand.
Of the hunt.
We come from the fire and are born bathed in fire. We spread, burn, and destroy until all the kindling has burned out and we
Eu
leave
quero
only
ver.
ashes on the ground.
Que você falou que guardou garantido
Burning
pra
forms the entire life of a fire.
Então, a Rorô eu não cheguei nem a...
From the
Eu cheguei...
beginning to
Não, não cheguei perto dos 50-50 da Rorô.
we are
Porque daí
born
antes
to
dela eu
die,
tinha pego um outro
just to
personagem.
put into
Que eu não lembro qual foi o
practice a
banner, mas eu
profile
peguei.
of another universal truth.
Eu já tinha ganhado 50-50 no banner anterior dela. Aí eu joguei pra pegar ela. Não peguei,
Your companions don't
porque
seem to
daí
think
acabou o
so.
banner.
They fight for your chance at
E
survival.
depois eu peguei... Ah, eu não vou lembrar de tudo. Eu sou muito esquecido com esse negócio de banner.
Just as I was,
Mas eu sei que eu
they
peguei.
are flames that have yet to burn white hot. They're still young, and I don't blame them. But my flames are faint,
A Topaz,
and
eu também
time is
joguei.
running out.
É que assim, ó, no tempo da Topaz, eu tinha dado uma parada de jogar o Honkai. Eu tava só
Plan
entrando
to bring
pra
purgatory
pegar...
with me there.
Na verdade, eu tinha parado de jogar mesmo.
I must
Acho que eu
surpass
fiquei uns 20 dias sem jogar Honkai e entrar no Honkai.
Why?
Um mês, eu não lembro.
because
fiquei bastante
on the
tempo.
path they have forged. You have
Foi
traveled farther than I have.
depois da Jin Liu, que daí eu dei uma parada no Honkai. Aí agora eu voltei. Tava sem ânimo pra jogar Honkai, porque daí tipo assim, ó, eu tava buildando meus personagens e veio a Jin Liu que era mais forte que todo mundo. Aí tava vindo sempre um mais forte que o outro. Aí eu ficava tipo, ah não, né? Aí eu tô buildando ele aqui e tem um outro mais forte. Daí eu vou
We shall
coisar, tentar passar as coisas, não vai dar porque o outro é mais forte.
to fight a decisive battle to the death.
Mas a Topaz é uma também que eu queria pegar.
This
Ela é muito boa com Rachel.
destruction is intense, but brief. To cravenly cling to life is to endure an endlessly prolonged existence.
Even if the answer turns out to be your own destruction.
Tá de boa a transição, porque tipo assim, a Twitch não me liberou as qualidades, tá em 1080.
Exists just
Não
as
tá travando
you
pra ti,
exist.
tá de boa?
Everything exists to be destroyed. Emanators are no different. Just as even sweet dreams may be born of the void, the so-called impossible is merely something that has yet to happen.
Eu só quero ver ela matando ele.
All right. I accept.
I accept.
You shall witness the most brilliant and intense fire in existence. May this flame illuminate the farthest
Não era um
reaches of
emanador
your
também?
bottomless dream.
A bottomless dream. Yes, that's right.
Eu tenho a Huamei,
But you've
só não
made
tenho
one
o cone
small
dela.
mistake.
Mas a Huamei eu consegui pegar.
This blade remains in its scabbard not out of pity or scorn. It's a personal secret that I don't want to disclose, but perhaps out of reciprocity.
Só segue a destruição. Ah, tá. Eu sei que ele era bem forte. E
I'll
ela,
reveal
né?
the truth to you.
Cutim, cutim.
The hunt is not the path I truly follow. May death be the end of your boundless dream,
Gente!
guiding you back to the waking world.
Ah, videozinho.
I still see them in my dreams.
Ah,
Hold it. Your time hasn't come yet.
My time.
Eu
I've seen many
jurava
clever
que ela ia-
disguises that can
Nossa.
conceal appearances, but they can never cover up who a person really is.
bicho do começo do
And
jogo.
you're no different.
Ah.
You had no desire to kill the Trailblazer. You only did what you did to drive me and the Memo Keeper away, but why?
Bicho chato, odeio ele.
Did Destiny's slave make you do it?
Uhum.
You know, Elio.
I thought this is just the kind of thing that'd get written into your script.
É o que? Ela leu o script.
Script has always been brief. Other than that, anything beyond that is unnecessary. He knows my nature. There is but a single destiny from which no one can
Também é boss
escape.
semanal.
And until then, I hold the privilege of choice. However, you appear to be ignorant of this. So it's time for me to inquire. Who exactly are you?
Not your enemy, perhaps.
That's not what I asked.
I don't deserve your curiosity. Loners wandering the cosmos always have their secrets. Take me. I'm wanted by the IPC, so it's little wonder that I know something about the Stellaron hunters. That's all. Maybe I can help.
Olha a
What
pose dela.
reason would you have for doing that?
I tend to forget things.
Você é chegado nos leaks?
Which is why-
Então.
Rather than
posso
memories,
afirmar nem
I'm
discordar.
accustomed to using my emotions to capture what I normally
Entende.
wouldn't otherwise. So, I know who is inside that cold armor. How about it? Ready to take off that armor and sit down for a talk?
It's not yet time.
Pelo rosa?
I don't need help, but I can give you a suggestion that would make things better for you and me. If your goal
É que eu
is
vejo
the
leak de
Watchmaker's
personagem, não
legacy,
de.
then go look into
De
the
história.
family. Not only are they covering up the
É o
existence
que
of
vejo, na
death,
verdade, né? Meu irmão mostra.
but they're
Meu
burying
irmão
the
que mostra pra mim.
past and the truth about what happens inside the dreamscape.
Dreamscape.
Already on it.
And the Astral Express is no enemy of yours.
I know that. I just never expected to hear you say it. What's next then? The Trailblazer's been taken by Black Swan. Will you go look for him?
No need for that. No harm in mentioning that Elio's only given me one instruction. Get all of the Astral Express to track down the Grand Legacy. I tried settling this in an easier and more direct way, but as you can see, here I am confronting you. I failed. Can't ever go against the script.
The so-called impossible is merely something that has yet to happen. That's it. Before we split, can I ask you one more thing? Is there anything else in your script about me? I'd like to know what kind of footnote I get to leave in that future foreseen by destiny.
Unfortunately, not a thing came up.
I knew it.
I knew it.
Hang on. I don't.
Don't. What?
Your first question was, do you still have dreams about everyone who died because of you? I don't. Never have.
Nossa.
I was born without the ability to dream. I live for this cold, harsh reality.
Uau.
For a little light
Coitado.
and to burn. To keep on burning. Until I turn to ash. So, I really envy you.
Is that so? Then you're already living in the waking world.
Não gosto de lutar contra ele. Muito chatinho.
We heard about Miss Firefly from Black Swan, but we never expected Miss Robin to...
I'm sorry that I couldn't be with you then.
Reality
Ainda bem, né,
cruises
remake.
on in serenity, while undercurrents bubble up from the dreamscape. Just like that memo keeper said. Stay strong, everyone. We can still do what we can for them. Starting with finding the murderer.
Let's recap everything then. The Trailblazer just reminded me of something. March, do you remember what that family rep who negotiated with us said?
Indeed, we trust that the Nameless has nothing to do with this. And we also beg each of you to help assist the family in verifying the identity of the deceased.
Queria ter uma memória boa
That's how
assim.
it was put, in reference to Miss Firefly.
Looking back, he seemed a little evasive at the time. And he also failed to mention anything about the earlier murder, too.
The family's planning on covering up all news about Miss Robin's death. If news gets out, Penacony's going to turn into a bloodbath.
But the murder that followed closely after was obviously beyond their anticipation. The family had to try and turn things to their advantage by bringing in reinforcements from outside. The Charmony Festival is nearly here. They must be snowed under.
It may also be that Miss Firefly's murder had so many witnesses that it couldn't be covered up. So they went with the flow and let more people on the scene to control the situation. After all, the nature of the two murders is fundamentally different. The family's first protective measure should be against malicious actors among the guests, such as that IPC envoy.
Indeed.
Indeed.
I was particularly concerned about that Galaxy Ranger.
Are we missing the forest for the trees here? I always felt that Aventurine's reasons for accusing Miss Acheron were highly subtle. Can we believe him?
At this point, I'm afraid the only ones we can trust are ourselves.
É verdade.
Look, let's try to gather intel first and then list all the possible outcomes we can. Then we go through them, eliminating contradictions one by one. The fewer facts remaining, the closer we are to the truth. I've still got this sense of foreboding. It's like we're stuck in a whirlpool, spinning around that legacy even after everything that's happened.
This time we're playing the role of a real detective. But before we start, what are we going to say to the family and Aventurine?
As I see things, the family harbors no ill will towards the Astral Express. If they didn't trust the crew, they wouldn't have casually commissioned outsiders to investigate a case that's, in all likelihood, a scandal. Plus, this is the family's turf. Teaming up with them should make things easier for us in the future. As for that Aventurine, well, I'd like to hear your thoughts.
He's complex. He deliberately slow-played his hand during negotiations while running circles around us all the while. He appealed convincingly to both reason and emotion. It wasn't forced, but the intent was obvious. Still, it's good to have contacts among all this uncertainty. Aventurine showed his skills, and as far as our interests are aligned, he can become a reliable ally. We also need to keep a certain distance from the family. Never let them get too close. Teaming up with the IPC helps balance that out. If either side makes a move, we have the option to pull out.
So you
Well,
suggest accepting
Meu Deus
Aventurine's
do
proposal
céu.
to team up?
Yes. It's risky, but we can only wait until both sides have played their cards before making any further judgments.
I get why, but there's a whole lot of bad guys and girls around here, and I'm worried about getting stabbed in the back. He's been bullied a few times now, and I can't stand it anymore. No, I can't accept this. Forget about it. Just let me keep an eye on him. If that doesn't work, we can just turn the tables and use him instead.
Then, could you please reply to Aventurine? Everyone, take this time to put together your thoughts.
Vamos embora. Essa internet que eles têm é muito boa. Vontade de dizer só isso. Eu tenho bem mais que isso. Ele me deu mais crédito ainda. Gente, ele é rico.
Looks like Aventurine is happy with this outcome. Let's tell everyone about it.
Checked off
Corre,
the list.
Acheron.
I hope it's not too soon to bring it up, but I feel like Miss Robin isn't actually dead, but that she's still alive and well.
Eu
Somewhere.
também acho que ela não morreu,
That
não.
everything's just some horrible prank. Because aren't we supposed to be inside a dream How could someone die in a beautiful dreamscape like this? Shouldn't only good things happen here? Whenever I see the Grand Theater, I just can't stop all these thoughts from flooding my head.
Eu acho que esse bichinho tá fazendo a mesma coisa que ele faz quando a gente luta contra ele. Acho que ele pegou as duas e elas estão presas em algum lugar. Aí se a gente for lutar contra ele, eu acho que a gente vai lutar pra libertar elas.
Yeah, of course. At times like this, we're so lucky to have our crew. The family and the IPC. Everyone has their own plans going on. Everyone's still having a great time out there on the streets. Nobody knows what's happened. It's all so unreal. As if Firefly, Miss Robin, and us were all outsiders from another world. Aw, what a mess. I really want a nice cool drink of soda to help me calm down. But then I'd be just like everyone else out on the streets.
Bebedora de Coca-Cola. Wert.
I really love Clocky.
Hã?
Aventurine said something that concerns me. He accused that Galaxy Ranger of killing Robin without any evidence whatsoever, but said nothing about her connection to that memory zone meme or why he was stalking you. It was a groundless accusation, which only serves to make him seem more suspicious. Maybe Aventurine's goal was never to gain our trust. Maybe he wanted to foster a feeling of enmity towards Acheron and make the situation more volatile. Two birds, one stone. However, I asked Dan Heng back on the Express to confirm that story about the Annihilation Gang and the lost messages. It wasn't something that Aventurine made up out of thin air. You've met her many times now. What's your impression of Miss Acheron?
Eu gosto dela. Estranho, não consigo lembrar. Como assim?
That fits the stereotype of a Galaxy Ranger to a T. They're eccentric, unpredictable, and fond of being alone. No wonder she's a suspect.
Vamos falar com a Himiko.
Aventurine's goal is to try and recapture Penacony for IPC. To do this, he'll have to bring down the family in its entirety to create a big enough chance. The existence of death will be covered up by the family. So how does he plan on taking them down? It's gotta be something important enough that everyone will notice. but it also can't be anything too out in the open.
E se ele atacar o hotel, será que ele vai atacar a família? Será que ele vai atacar aquilo? Será que ele vai atacar o Expresso Astral?
An attack on the hotel guests? Unlikely. Penacony's guests include quite a few bigwigs known throughout the whole cosmos. People who not even the IPC would dare take lightly. Aventurine is a shrewd merchant, and there's no way he doesn't know that. He's definitely going for the family, and it's just a matter of how. The harmony is strong in Penacony, and almost impossible to take on head-to-head. The fact that the IPC dispatched Aventurine shows that they do not intend to simply play by the book here. Aventurine has devoted considerable attention to her. But this Galaxy Ranger, we know hardly anything about her, and can't rush to any conclusions. I was also considering this possibility, especially because he respects you so much, and has sought you out before a few times. Perhaps he's also unsure of your intentions and is probing you.
Será-se?
I'm just speculating. In any case, we have to be careful when handling Aventurine. He's skilled at reading people and discerning the right moment to strike. Also, he's clearly a born gambler if he's willing to go all in to win.
Looks like Aventurine doesn't need anything else. Let's turn our attention to the family's assignment for now. Himiko, what do you think?
Among our current clues, the two murders that he witnessed are the most directly connected. I suggest starting here. One thing I'm curious about is, if a person dies in a dream, what happens to them in real life? Seeing as we're at the family's behest, why not pop back out to reality and verify Miss Firefly's situation back at the hotel? Perhaps we could also make a few inquiries about her while out there.
How about we split off into two groups? There are still some things worth focusing on inside the dreamscape. I'll investigate those, and we can link up again later.
Worth focusing on? Oh. No problem. I'll leave it to you then.
Huh? Aw, I thought I'd finally get to see Himiko and Mr. Yang go out on a mission together. Oh well. Take care then, Mr. Yang.
I will. Keep in touch. Honored guest, could you come out for a second?
What?
I'd be embarrassed too, getting stared at like that.
Forgive me. My name is Welt Yang. I'm one of the crew members on the Astral Express. I believe you've met my colleagues.
Welt.
Is there something about my name?
First, don't you want to know my name?
I already do, Miss Acheron. You're a prominent figure in Penacony.
Meu nome não é Acheron.
What are they saying about me?
Some claim that you're the real culprit behind these murders, that the Annihilation Gang's tragic fate at the banquet was a result of your blade, and that you're now attempting to unleash another bloodbath on Penacony.
The Annihilation Gang.
Ifrit of Everflame Mansion.
Tragic fate. That Duke turned his dying body to flames and sacrificed his life as a martyr. He was a determined and heroic pathstrider. Not even a villain should be disparaged like this. And what's more, there were plenty of suspects invited. Do they really think that a blade is more dangerous than that black hole you're wielding?
Nice.
Keen intuition. Not even the family managed to point out the truth behind this cane. So you must surely know, Miss Acheron, that peering into a black hole is not a wise move. As a potential threat, your knowledge of us has reached uncomfortable depths. Reveal your true identity and intentions. Otherwise, brace yourself for gravitational disintegration.
That shouldn't be necessary. But if it makes the Nameless feel less defensive, I'll be happy to abide. Believe it or not, Galaxy Ranger, Acheron, those are the names I go by to this very day. My trip to Penacony is solely to fulfill an old, final request. I'm here for the Watchmaker's legacy. And that's it. I think I've been honest enough.
Still unwilling to reveal your true identity?
It's not that I don't want to. It's just that I can't. I've come so far, and I can't sum up all of that in just a few words. Everyone has their own unspeakable past. Secrets that they don't want to be revealed. And I won't be asking any more questions, such as why the Astral Express is roaming around the cosmos with a Stellaron on board. Is he okay? That memo keeper didn't do anything, right?
He's fine. Let's stick with the topic. Gaining my trust all depends on how much you're willing to reveal.
I've run around many different Penacony dreamscapes just to try and find that legacy. And during this period, I came into contact with quite a few guests. In the process, I gradually came to realize the secret of Penacony may be closely related to the Trailblaze.
Kiri?
That's why I've come to ask for your help. I don't have enough proof yet, but I'd like to speculate something. The source of all tragedy lies within the family. If you could trust me, we could find the proof to support this claim together. Mr. Yang, I think you've come to the same conclusion, haven't you?
Let's leave it at that. For now, I'll choose to believe that you bear no hostility. Share your findings with me and me alone. I don't want vague conjecture to interfere with other people's judgments before we find solid proof.
By the way, would you like something to drink? Before we go, how about 2 cups of Wake the Heck Up?
Acordar pra cuspir.
4 cups. Because the conversation coming up will last forever.
Como assim?
I've been watching her closely for a while now, and the first invitation was in the banquet hall of the hotel. She just sat in one corner, keeping silent, chugging down a couple cups of Wake the Heck Up. I told her it's a pungent, bitter beverage, not the taste of sweet dreams. Only for people allergic to Soul Glad. And she said,
Really? But I don't taste any difference at all between them.
Por que aquele baú
the
não
guest
aparece
rooms
pra
are
mim?
charmingly minimalist. An aesthetic you share, Miss Acheron. It's a cinch. This music box. The invitation received by the Annihilation Gang. There are latent memories that linger on it yet. You see, memories of you are not yours alone. They travel in other people, other things. I know much, and I can predict even more. With some help, the dead can be made to speak. The Annihilation Gang, that band of desperados who all disappeared after meeting you. What exactly happened to them? Well, let me reveal all.
Gente.
Gradation 12. Dreamscape 12. Father, I dedicate this to you.
Well done, Dubra. Wherever they go, shall be met by annihilation.
There it is. It's hazy, but it's Ifrit's voice. The other one is probably his progeny. This is the residual memory from when the invitation was first delivered. They were abruptly interrupted. Then, what happened next is...
They sought refuge in a land of sleep, merely wishing for undisturbed rest, away from the storms. Children of the flame, this marks your rite of passage.
She won't be necessary. I alone am enough.
When have those on the path of destruction feared death?
Gente.
The Everflame Mansion has set out on a journey. Those poor people, they have no idea what lies in wait ahead of them. Memory recovery is going well, but slowly. She'll be here soon, and time is short. There's nobody else here, so there's no need to be delicate. In fact, I think I'd better go all out.
Sim, eu vou ficar travado na pose porque tá acabando a bateria do meu celular.
What happened? The memory after that is blank. How is that possible? This music box fell into Acheron's hands, and she brought it to Penacony. That's a fact, and that's how it should have gone. But along the way... it's like it's been erased. Who's done this?
Who are you?
Gente.
Who are you?
It's... no. Is this not a memory?
Oh, a memo keeper. Do you serve the Garden of Recollection? Or the Cremators? My name is Constance. A pleasure to meet you. We were supposed to meet in Penacony and spend an unforgettable time together. But that seems unrealistic. Dahlia's not welcome on the banquet star, and I don't need a coming-of-age ceremony. And you, I know what you're looking for. Want her secret? I can give it to you, and then you can enjoy the banquet for me. I wish you unforgettable memories.
Oh. A phone. Wanna listen in?
A few days ago, the IPC made an announcement. Under the watchful guidance of the Marketing Development Department, and in accordance with the Interstellar Peace Charter, the independent Sigonian sovereignty has hereby been established, and shall take a legislative seat at the Interstellar Congress. The formation of the Sigonian sovereignty is of great historical significance to the Sigonia system. This move puts an end to the planet's long and bloody history, turning the sensational Kataka-Abjin extinction event into a distant memory.
Nice.
Sigonia 4 is located in an unclaimed zone at the intersection of the Denise, Prothean, and Dorneau star clusters. The planet's surface environment is known for being extremely harsh, constantly faced with the threat of impact from small-scale celestial objects. This is why very few intelligent species have made this planet their home, dividing themselves into several tribes to eke out nomad lifestyles as they struggle to survive the arid desert wilderness. They have developed their own folk beliefs that are independent of the Eon belief system.
Sigonia. Sigonia. Ravenous eye of the storm, spurned by all the gods. Land of rock, but not water. Lightning, but not rain. Blood, but not tears. You beat us with your falling stars. You lash us with wind and storm. You chew us up with the cracked earth. You promised us a land of honey, yet yoked us beneath a sword of bitterness. Oh, Gaiathra Triclops, if thou can hear me, please open up thy three eyes and gaze upon this child. When you took his father, my child was still sleeping in my belly. And where my husband went, I too soon must go. I don't ask for a peaceful death. Just for you to tell me, does the baby swaddled sweetly asleep? Does he dream of his mother's heartbeat and the sound of falling rain? Please tell me whether this life is all just a fleeting dream. Otherwise, why would this child be born to face impending death?
Mommy! Mommy!
Please.
Mommy! The rain! It's raining!
Raining? Raining.
It is raining! It's true! Those Outworlders weren't lying to us. They really did summon the rain. Mommy, we can leave here. We can go back home.
Back home. Gaiathra Triclops. You came. Do you hear that? Thank you. Thank you. Darling, listen. This is the sound of rain. On the day you were born, the sky also sent down a gift like this from Gaiathra. Such a lucky child. such a blessed child. Just like your name. A gift from them to Avgen. My boy. May the goddess Gayatri close her eyes 3 times. Keep your blood eternally pulsing. Let your journey be forever peaceful. And your schemes forever concealed. Welcome to this sad world, Kakavasha.
Akavasha.
Time to wake up, gambler.
Pera aí, eu vou lá buscar comida. Já volto. Dorothy. Vamos continuar assistindo.
Oh, heavens. I must have drunk too much Soul Glad. Didn't expect you to be back so soon. How is it? Find anything?
Just as you guessed. Nobody outside knows about Robin's death. There aren't even baseless conspiracy theories. They're still streaming the rehearsal for her ceremony. Using a stand-in, I guess. They must be dreaming.
Of course. Who could imagine that death would actually descend upon the idyllic dream created by the family? Let alone that the victim would be the female lead of the Charmony Festival. To be honest with you, I didn't believe it. I even tested it a few times myself. Until I discovered that I couldn't actually die. Whenever there's any danger, I'm forced awake by the dream pool, and it's all as if everything were just a nightmare. That's why I'm convinced that there are a few big secrets lurking behind the scenes.
Then you must have heard about the Memory Zone meme. When I graciously deigned to establish connections with the Oak family on your behalf, they were quite in a pitiful state of disarray. Besides Robin, there was another body. I don't know the exact details, just that it was a stowaway.
2 murder cases? I told you something seemed off about the Nameless. He must have come across the other one. This murderer is a psycho. But I have to admit, the case should be easy to crack. We can leverage the family's malfeasance and let the IPC use this as a reason to intervene.
Eu acho que eu viajei.
It's just that their trickery runs deeper than I thought. Robin's stand-in was all ready to go.
Esqueci de mostrar o jogo.
These 2 murders are definitely getting hushed up. What should we do? Let me think. It's too rare an opportunity to miss out on, so I gotta be careful.
Incredible, Gambler. Have you already exhausted your limited repertoire of tricks so soon?
There are plenty of chips, but it'd be best to choose carefully. The most straightforward has to be Robin. Remember? That masked fool once told me to find a mute as a friend. Robin is what she calls the mute. She has lost her voice, and while most people can't pick up on it, you and I cannot mistake that sound. Not produced by any voice box, but rather by the resonance of the harmony. If that girl hadn't gone hoarse from singing practice, there'd only be one possibility. Something was up with the family. Or Robin herself. To get to the bottom of this, I tried every way I could to meet her. But she died. Right before my very eyes.
A complete and utter loss. Incidentally, it seems to have resulted in your rather undignified arrival on the interrogation stand. There were eyewitnesses at the scene, and the family, in their graciousness, has tentatively accepted your alibi. However, for the foreseeable future, you shall, regrettably, find yourself under the vigilant watch of the Hounds.
Well, things aren't looking too optimistic, Doctor. I'm starting to break out in a cold sweat. Do you reckon there's still any chance of a comeback, given how things are?
A probability? Yes, it exists, but it verges on the infinitesimal. To phrase it in a manner more befitting the vernacular of Penacony, you're dreaming. But if you simply can't control yourself and want to try your hand, then there just so happens to be a suitable candidate. That man wants to see you again.
Who?
Sunday.
Is this a public hearing or a private trial?
If it were the former, It would hardly befit my stature to stoop to the role of a mere messenger.
Fine. Oh, that's great. It's all great. You see, the dead can't talk, but the living can. Ratio, I'm convinced now that there must be something wrong inside the family. Oh, just you wait and see. That man's sister has died. He can't sit on his hands. Well, without any further ado, let's set off. Lead the way. The show is about to begin.
We're here. The Dewlight Pavilion is the Oak family's fortress and a place where heads of the families meet to discuss great plans for Penacony.
Fortress?
Aquele rapazinho de óculos escuros.
I like this metaphor. I dealt with the warlords of the Amanica star system not long ago, and their synchronized orbital manor wasn't this heavily guarded.
This mansion nominally belongs to Sunday, and is very befitting of its owner. Without his express invitation, the likes of ordinary guests would never grace these grounds in their lifetimes. Look around while you still have this moment of freedom.
Hey, Doc, whose side are you on anyway?
Who's to say I won't sell you out?
We'll see. When we meet the authoritarian master of the Oak family, I'll pry an answer out of him.
Follow me and I'll bring you to his parlor. Hold your tongue and let me deal with the members of the family.
Huh. Isso é novo. Mentira que dá pra jogar com ele. Mentira.
A reward with no risk? I'll take it. Feeling lucky.
Que tom person.
Hey, you two! That's a place of business. No entry.
I was requested by Mr. Sunday to bring him the suspect. My name is Ratio. He should have mentioned it to you.
Oh, I remember you. Veritas Ratio. Your punch virtual particle clock is impressive.
Excuse me?
The one on your head. Of course, it's nothing compared to my full pocket dimensional annihilating power armor of the Mobile Knights.
Right, and as I mentioned, that fantasy raiment of yours doesn't exist.
That's because you can't see it. Like I say, only family can see the glory of the Mobile Knights. Enough. Get going. Don't keep Mr. Sunday waiting.
It seems like the idiocy index here is no better than it is out there.
A dead end?
The door is shut tight. Looks like we're on our own.
I mean, there isn't a door.
For security reasons, the family built the administrative site deep in the dreamscape, with the mechanisms hidden in these Nightingale statues. The direction of the statues can be controlled. On the previous occasion, an attendant named Kona had gone to the side room to verify something before setting the statues in the correct positions.
Well, maybe we should do the same. Let's go and take a look. Of course. This is hardly enough for a seat at the table.
Não sei se é isso. Ah, passarinho.
Feeling lucky.
Ready for another? Net markers activated. Time for a good old counterattack. No matter. I see through you. Together as one.
Sure, I'll play
Together
along.
as one.
Spend freely. No dirt. Watch your head.
You know nothing of the weight behind this. Survive or be destroyed.
Eu acho que eu gostei
There
dele.
is no other choice.
Pode ficar tranquilo enquanto você não. Não.
Oi.
Oi. Você tá bom?
Eu tô aí, tu.
Você tá bom?
Creations.
Você tá bem, né?
Tô. Por quê?
Eu lembrei um videozinho de TikTok.
Que
Ele
videozinho?
fala assim.
Ah, tá. Você tá bom mesmo?
Enemy data secure. Net markers activated. Time for a good old counterattack.
Time for good old camera. Yes. TT.
It is like TT.
Watch your head. I hit the mark.
Ai, que delícia.
Ai, que delícia.
The dice have been
Os tênis longos estão me mordendo, cara.
Or maybe
Tô
I'll take
brincando.
it all.
Nos braços de uma mina conheceu o amor. Uma semana pro meu aniversário. Estou de parabéns. Ai, cuida.
Enemy targets detected. Ready for another?
Hedge your bets.
Enemy data net markers activated. Time for a good old counterattack.
Acho que eu vou começar essa batalha de novo.
Esse é o sujo.
All or nothing.